The sky was yellow-gray when the K-7 fighter shook. Not a big explosion, just a long shiver through the metal, like a bone breaking underfoot. On the bridge, Cax, a soldier of the Vorn Empire, felt it in his teeth. He gripped the control panel. His fingers were steady. That was the rule. Steady until the end. Around him, the screens flashed. Green became red. Alarms screamed in a language Cax had heard since childhood, but today the sound felt stranger. Something inside the engine caught fire. A small spark, then a long trail of orange light running down the wing. Damage port side, 40%. The voice of the pilot next to him cracked. Cax did not answer. He only looked at the outside view. The human ships were already turning away. They had done their job. They had blown the Vorn wing. Now they were gone. Cax's job was simple: hold long enough for the retreat. Not long, just long enough. He pushed the thrusters. The ship jumped forward, but the port motor screamed again. A metal pipe burst. Cold air rushed in. The lights inside began to flicker. He tried to lock the flight system. The screen turned black for half a second. When it came back, the map showed only fire and empty space. No fleet behind him, no friends. Only the human ships far away, small dots disappearing into the dust of sun. Cax's chest hurt, not from wound, from the feeling that no one was looking back. He pressed the emergency eject. The seat pushed him upward. The world became a blur of metal, fire, and black. When the chute opened, the wind hit like a wall. He fell through smoke and broken pieces of his own ship. Every second felt loud. The crack of metal, the shout of wind, his own breath coming faster. Below him, no land, no base, only a dark patch of ice rock that the Empire used as a crash dump, a place where broken machines and broken soldiers were left. No ceremony, no name on a stone, just a hole in the ground when the cleaners came. Cax hit the rock. Not soft. The air left his lungs in one sharp push. The eject seat collapsed around him. Metal scraped his back. Blood appeared, a thin red line on gray armor. He lay still. The smoke died. The sound died. Around him, the silence was full. Not quiet, full, like the space between two heartbeats. He tried to call his unit. No signal. He tried the Empire network. Dead. He moved a finger. It hurt. He looked at his hands. They were covered in oil and blood. On his chest, the Vorn badge, the silver triangle, was bent, but still there. It was the only thing that proved he had been someone before this moment. From far away, he heard a drone, small, regular, the clean sound of a patrol scanner passing over the dump. They came every hour. They counted the dead. They logged the loss. They never stopped to see if anyone still breathed. Cax closed his eyes. He could feel the cold rock under his back. He could feel the blood cooling on his skin. And in that moment, a thought came, simple, sharp, and very human, even though he was not human. If no one comes, I will be only numbers, not a soldier, not a name, just waste. The drone passed overhead. Its light swept across him, a thin blue beam. For 0.2 seconds, the screen inside the drone showed a heat signature. 1. Alive. The operator inside the drone would write it in the log. Survivor, Class C, no priority. Then the beam moved on. No message, no order to rescue, just the automatic rule the Empire lived by. Broken equals irrelevant. Cax lay there. The wind blew dust across his face. He did not shout. He did not beg. He only watched the stars through a crack in the metal above him, small, cold lights moving far away. And then, from the direction of the human ships, long behind him, tiny on the horizon, a single signal blinked. Not a fleet, not a command, just a small, illegal, unofficial transmission from a low-rank human soldier on a tiny base who had no order, no fuel, no reason except the picture he saw on his cracked screen. A fighter going down, a soldier falling. no one else moving. That signal traveled through empty space, through noise, through the gap between two empires. It reached the crash dump. It touched the drone's receiver. It created one small line of light on one small screen, far away from any command, any rule, any system that cared. Cax felt it more than heard it. A pulse, a heartbeat that wasn't his, not Vorn, not enemy, just a choice from someone who had nothing to gain and everything to lose. In that instant, something shifted inside him. Not hope, hope was too big, just a small spark. Maybe someone sees me. Maybe someone will not turn away. But outside, the drone continued its path. The Empire's rules continued. No one was coming. No one had been ordered to come. And the darkness around Cax looked deeper than space. Yet that tiny human signal, small, secret, forbidden, was already the first crack in the wall of silence. And cracks, once started, never close completely. The fall had ended, but the story had not. The drone finished its scan. Its blue beam moved on. On the small screen inside the metal box, the operator typed the line automatically. Survivor, Class C, no response, no priority. He hit save. The record disappeared into the Empire's big database. Another number, another loss, another line no one would read twice. But far away, on a tiny human base that barely had enough power for lights, Liam saw the same signal. He was cleaning a broken sensor when the screen flickered. A strange pulse. No name, no code, just a single heat dot moving toward a crash dump, the place where the Vorn left their dead. His hand stopped. He knew that spot. He had seen the reports. Vorn fighter, no survivor. Every report was the same. He looked at his rank badge on his chest. Private Liam, Earth Defense, Sector 4. He had no ship, no authority, no order to go anywhere. And yet his eyes went to the map. The dot was getting closer to the dump, closer to Cax, the soldier from the fighter that blew up 5 minutes ago. Liam checked the rules on his wall, big black text on white paper. No contact with enemy survivors, no operation without command, no movement outside base after curfew. Breaking any of these meant court-martial, maybe loss of foot, maybe worse. He looked at the screen again. The dot did not move like a machine. It moved like someone walking, slow, careful, trying to not be seen. Liam's throat tightened. Not fear, something smaller, a pull, like when you pick up a loose wire and it touches your finger, a small shock that you cannot ignore. He told himself, it is a false signal, static, a broken sensor. But his hand went to the old hoverpod in the corner, a scrap piece from last year's repair. It had no name, it had no fuel reserve. It would last maybe 2 minutes after leaving the base. If he used it, he would be outside the zone. If he was caught, the cameras would record him, the base computer would log it, and the Empire, when it saw a human near a Vorn crash site, would not ask why. They would only enforce the rule. Liam sat on the floor. The pod made a small metal sound when he opened it. He did not pray. He did not shout. He just looked at his boots and said out loud, "If I go, I die. If I stay, he dies." That was the choice. Not heroics, not glory, just 2 deaths put side by side and a man picking the one he could control. He checked the battery. Red light. 2 minutes. Enough for a short jump, maybe 300 meters to the edge of the dump. Nothing more. He put on his jacket. No weapon bigger than a knife. No radio. No call for help. Only his name tag and the small med patch in his pocket, the last thing the clinic gave him before he went on night duty. Outside, the base lights were off. The night air was cold. Stars were thin, far away. No one walked the corridors. No one watched the gates. Liam started the pod. It hummed, a weak sound, like a bee trapped under metal. As he moved toward the open gate, a camera eye turned towards him. Red light blinked. The system recorded. Unauthorized movement, level 4. Liam did not stop. He went slower. He kept his head down.
If the guard checked the feed, he would see a private walking toward a dead zone with no order. That was enough to end his life on paper. But the guard did not check. Maybe he was sleeping. Maybe he saw thousands of level 4 alerts every night and ignored them. Maybe the night was too quiet. Liam reached the edge of the base. Here the ground changed. Rough rock, no path, no light. He switched the pod to silent mode. No sound, no signal, just the small motor pushing him forward through dark stone. 5 minutes later, he saw the drone again. It was circling the dump. Its light swept the ground in wide arcs, blue, cold, mechanical. Liam stopped 50 meters away. He hid the pod behind a big rock. He pulled the med patch from his pocket. It was small, a square of fabric with glue on one side. If he could stick it...
The guards did not wait. 2 big Empire soldiers grabbed John's arms. Click! They put cold, heavy metal chains on his wrists. John was too tired to fight. His shirt was still wet with blue blood. His legs were shaking from pushing on Carr's chest for 3 hours. General Vrax looked down at him. "You chose death, human," he said. Then he turned and walked out. "Take him down." They dragged John out of the medical tent. Outside, thousands of alien soldiers were still standing in the circle. They watched in silence. John's own commander, Commander Miller, looked at the ground. He did not help. He was too scared of the Empire. The guards took John up into the big black Empire ship in the sky. They pushed him into a small prison cell. The door shut with a loud bang. It was dark. It was cold. Water was dripping from the roof. Drip, drip, drip. John sat on the cold metal floor. The chains were heavy on his hands. He was alone. He closed his eyes. He was not sorry for what he did. He thought about the sound of Carr's heart on the machine. Beep, beep, beep. That sound was enough for him. While John sat in the dark, his story was flying across the stars. On every planet in the Empire, the video was on every big screen. Millions of aliens watched one small human walk into a circle of death. They watched him carry a giant enemy on his back. They watched him say, "I am not leaving him." The alien news speakers said in a loud voice, "A human has broken Rule 9. This has never happened in 1,000 years." In alien homes, families were angry. "Humans are stupid," one old alien said. "They let feelings control them. Feelings are a weakness." "Humans are a disease," said another soldier in a bar. "The Empire will kill him tomorrow. Good." But some young aliens did not speak. They just watched the video again and again. They felt something strange in their chest. On the Empire capital planet, the High Council met. 12 old judges in white robes sat in a big circle. General Vrax stood in the middle. "The law is clear, human. This rule is life. The human broke it. The punishment is death." The head judge hit his golden stick on the floor. Boom. "It is decided," he said. "The human medic named John will die at sunrise tomorrow. We will do it in front of both armies, so the whole galaxy will learn." Back in the human medical tent, Carr was still sleeping. Dr. Maya did not leave him. She cleaned his wound, she changed the bandages, she watched his heart machine all night. For 6 hours, Carr did not move. Then, slowly, his big yellow eyes opened. He saw a white ceiling, not a black sky. He smelled clean medicine, not smoke. He was confused. He tried to sit up. His chest hurt like fire. Maya ran to him. "No, don't move. You will bleed again." Carr looked at her, a small human female, a healer, not a killer. "Where am I?" His deep voice was slow. "You are safe. You are in our tent. You are alive." Carr remembered. He remembered falling. He remembered his own soldiers turning their backs. He remembered a red light on a human head. "The human. Where is he?" Carr asked. Maya's face became sad. She picked up a tablet and pressed play. Carr watched the video.
He saw himself dying on the ground. He saw John walk alone past thousands of soldiers. He saw him fall down trying to lift him. He saw John put him on his back and walk, step by painful step. He saw John climb on the table and push on his chest for 3 hours without stopping. Push, push, push. Carr had been a general for 50 years. He had seen great bravery. He had never seen this. Why? Carr asked. It was the 3rd time he asked that word. I am your enemy. I have killed humans. Why did he save me? Maya looked into his eyes. Because he's human. On Earth, we have a different rule. We never leave a soldier behind, even if he is the enemy. Carr was quiet for a long time. In his life, rules were more important than people. His own men left him to die because of Rule 9. This human broke the biggest rule in the galaxy to save a stranger. Where is he now? Carr asked. Maya looked down. The Empire took him. General Vrax put him in the prison ship. They will kill him tomorrow morning at sunrise for saving you. Carr's big hands closed into fists. The heart machine next to him started to go faster. Beep, beep, beep. They will kill him for saving my life? He said. Yes, Maya whispered, because when no alien came for you, he was the only one who did. Carr looked down at his chest. Tubes were in his skin. Wires were on his arms. Blue medicine was going into his blood. He was very weak. The doctor said if he moved, his heart could stop forever. He thought about lying alone on that cold field, watching his own brothers walk away. Then he thought about one tired human who did not walk away. Carr made his choice. He reached up with his huge hand and grabbed the tubes in his chest. Maya shouted, "No, Carr, stop! You will die. Your heart is too weak. Please lie down." Carr did not listen. He put one giant foot on the cold floor, then the other. Pain hit his chest like fire. He breathed slow and hard. I died once already today, little healer, his deep voice said. On that cold field, my own people watched me die. This human, he did not watch. He came. He pushed Maya away, but not hard. He was gentle. He walked to the tent door. Each step left a small drop of blue blood on the floor. Drip, drip, drip. Maya ran after him. Where are you going? To get him, Carr said. He pushed the tent flap open. Outside was night. The fires on the battlefield were low. The sky was full of stars. Thousands of alien soldiers and human soldiers were in their camps, sleeping or eating. When they saw Carr, they all froze. It was General Carr, the great enemy, the warrior they left to die this morning. He was alive. He was walking. An alien soldier dropped his food plate. A human nurse gasped. In 1 second, 100 cameras pointed at him. On 12 planets across the Empire, the live videos started again. Millions of aliens watched on big screens in their homes. The news voice said, "The alien general lives because the human broke the rule." Some aliens shouted, "This is wrong." Some young aliens just watched in silence. They felt something new in their hearts. On the Empire capital planet, the High Council met. 12 old judges in white robes sat in a big circle. General Vrax stood in the middle. The law is clear. Human, this rule is life. The human broke it. The punishment is death. The head judge hit his golden stick on the floor. Boom. It is decided, he said. The human medic named John will die at sunrise tomorrow. We will do it in front of both armies, so the whole galaxy will learn. Back in the human medical tent, Carr was still sleeping. Dr. Maya did not leave him. She cleaned his wound, she changed the bandages, she watched his heart machine all night. For 6 hours, Carr did not move. Then, slowly, his big yellow eyes opened. He saw a white ceiling, not a black sky. He smelled clean medicine, not smoke. He was confused. He tried to sit up. His chest hurt like fire. Maya ran to him. "No, Carr, stop! You will bleed again." Carr looked at her, a small human female, A healer, not a killer. Where am I? His deep voice was slow. You are safe. You are in our tent. You are alive. Carr remembered. He remembered falling. He remembered his own soldiers turning their backs. He remembered a red light on a human head. The human. Where is he? Carr asked. Maya's face became sad. She picked up a tablet and pressed play. Carr watched the video. He saw himself dying on the ground. He saw John walk alone past thousands of soldiers. He saw him fall down trying to lift him. He saw John put him on his back and walk, step by painful step. He saw John climb on the table and push on his chest for 3 hours without stopping. Push, push, push. Carr had been a general for 50 years. He had seen great bravery. He had never seen this. Why? Carr asked. It was the 3rd time he asked that word. I am your enemy. I have killed humans. Why did he save me? Maya looked into his eyes. Because he's human. On Earth, we have a different rule. We never leave a soldier behind, even if he is the enemy. Carr was quiet for a long time. In his life, rules were more important than people. His own men left him to die because of Rule 9. This human broke the biggest rule in the galaxy to save a stranger. Where is he now? Carr asked. Maya looked down. The Empire took him. General Vrax put him in the prison ship. They will kill him tomorrow morning at sunrise for saving you. Carr's big hands closed into fists. The heart machine next to him started to go faster. Beep, beep, beep. They will kill him for saving my
20 guns did not fire. The red lights flashed. Ooh, ooh. The alarm was loud. General Vrax stood in front of Carr. 20 guards pointed their guns at Carr's chest, but no one pulled the trigger. They could not. Carr was not a normal soldier. He was General Carr of the 7th Legion. He was a hero to half the Empire's army. If they shot him, his own soldiers would start a war inside the ship. Vrax was angry. His face was red. Move, Carr, he shouted. This human broke Rule 9. The law is clear. Carr did not move. He stood in front of John's cell door. Blue blood was running down his leg. His big body was shaking from pain, but his yellow eyes were strong. If you want him, Carr said in a low voice, you shoot me first. Vrax looked at the guards. The guards looked at the floor. No one wanted to shoot their own general. Vrax smiled a cold smile. Fine. I will not shoot you. I will do something worse. I will take you both to the High Court. The whole galaxy will watch you both die. He waved his hand. Chain them. The guards put heavy chains on John's hands. They tried to put chains on Carr too, but Carr was too big. They just locked 2 metal rings on his wrists. They took them up, out of the dark prison. The next morning, the sun rose over the battlefield, but no one was fighting. Everyone was watching the sky. In the middle of the field, the Empire built a big round court. It was made of white stone. 10,000 alien soldiers sat in circles around it. Humans sat on one side, aliens on the other. Above them, giant screens showed the trial live to 12 planets. Millions of aliens watched from home. In the center, John stood on a small metal platform. His chains were heavy. His medic shirt was still blue with blood. He was tired and hungry. Next to him, Carr stood too. 2 medics tried to hold him up because he was so weak. His wound was open again, but he refused to sit. On a high chair, the High Judge sat. He was old. His robe was white and gold. He hit his big stick on the floor. Boom. The sound stopped everyone. Trial starts now, the judge said. His voice was loud on all speakers. Human medic John, you are charged with breaking Empire Rule 9. On the big screen, they played the video from yesterday. Everyone saw John walk alone into the circle. Everyone saw him put his hand on Carr's chest. Everyone saw the drone's red laser on his head. The judge looked at John. "Did you break the rule?" John lifted his head. He was not afraid now. He looked at the 10,000 faces. "Yes," John said clearly, "I broke it." The crowd made a loud noise. Some aliens shouted, "Kill him!" Some humans looked down, sad. The judge hit his stick again. Boom. Rule 9 is 1,000 years old. Do not help a fallen enemy. You helped the enemy. You saved the enemy. Therefore, you are guilty. He raised his hand high. The punishment for breaking Rule 9 is death. Commander Miller closed his eyes. Dr. Maya started to cry in the human tent while watching on screen. John just breathed slow. He was ready. But before the judge could drop his hand, another voice spoke. It was deep. It was loud. It shook the stone. "Wait." It was Carr. He pushed the two medics away. He walked forward one step, then another. He was bleeding badly now. Each step left blue blood on the white stone, but he walked to the center, next to John. He did not look at the judge. He looked at the 10,000 soldiers. He looked at the cameras that showed his face to the whole galaxy. "You want to kill this human for saving me, then you must listen to me first." The crowd went silent. A great enemy general was speaking for a human. This had never happened before. "I am General Carr. Yesterday I lay on this ground, right there. I was dying. My own army stood around me. My own brothers, my own friends. What did they do?" He paused. "Nothing. No one came. They obeyed Rule 9. They watched me die." He pointed his giant chained hand at John. "This human came. He had no gun. He had no armor. The Empire pointed a death drone on his hand. He did not leave. He carried me on my back. He pushed on my heart for 3 hours. He gave me my life back." Carr then fell to one knee. It was hard for him. He put his big hand on his chest, over his wound. "In my people's old law, before the Empire, we have a rule. It is called life debt. It means if someone saves your life is no longer yours. Your life belongs to him." He looked up at the high judge. "This human, John, owns my life now because he gave it back to me." Then Carr turned his head and looked at John. "So if you kill him today for breaking your rule, you must kill me too, because my life is his." 10,000 aliens made no sound. Millions of aliens on 12 planets watching at home made no sound. General Vrax stood up and shouted, "No, this is treason. Kill them both." The high judge did not look at Vrax. He looked at Carr bleeding and kneeling. He looked at John, small and chained. He had judged for 80 years. He had never seen an enemy die for an enemy. He slowly raised his old hand in the air. Everyone waited for his final words. The judge looked at the whole galaxy on camera and said in a slow voice, "Then if a general gives his life for a human, the Empire has no choice." The court was quiet. 10,000 soldiers did not breathe. Millions of aliens on 12 planets watched the old judge's hand in the air. He did not drop it for death. He opened his hand. Then, the judge said, his voice was slow and loud in every speaker, "If a general gives his life for a human, the Empire has no choice but to listen." General Vrax jumped up. His golden face was red with anger. "No, the law is the law for 1,000 years. You cannot change it." The judge looked down at him. "We made the law, Vrax, and today a human showed us it was wrong." He turned to the cameras. He looked at John in chains. He looked at Carr kneeling in his own blue blood. For 1,000 years, Rule 9 said do not help a fallen enemy. We thought this rule made us strong. We thought it made us clean.
Yesterday, I watched on this screen a small human medic walk alone into death. A drone put a red light on his head. His own commander ordered him to stop. He did not stop. For 3 hours, he pushed on a heart that was not human. He pushed until his own hands bled. He did not stop. Today, I watched General Carr, the most feared warrior in my army, kneel down and offer his own life for that same human. The judge hit his big stick on the white stone. Boom. He did not stop. The Empire has a rule for death. Humans have a rule for life. They call it never leave anyone behind. Which rule is stronger? No one in the crowd answered. They knew the answer. The judge stood up tall. So I speak now for the whole Empire. From this sunrise, old Rule 9 is dead. The crowd made a huge noise. Some old aliens shouted in anger, but thousands of young soldiers, alien and human, stood up and cheered loud. New Rule 9 is this, the judge shouted over them. No warrior, friend, or enemy will be left to die on the field if he can be saved. To help is not a crime. To help is honor. He pointed his stick at John. Remove his chains, now. 2 Empire guards ran to John. Their hands were shaking. Click, click. The heavy metal chains fell off his wrists and hit the stone floor. John was free. He did not run away. He did not cheer. He turned fast to his left. Carr was falling. The great general had lost too much blood. His yellow eyes were closing. His big body was shaking. Carr, John shouted. Carr fell forward like a big tree. John tried to catch him, but Carr weighed more than 300 kilograms. Both of them crashed to the ground. Dr. Maya and 2 nurses ran into the circle and helped. John was back on his knees just like yesterday. His hands were back on Carr's bleeding chest, pressing hard. "Hey, big guy, stay with me," John whispered, tears in his eyes. "You don't get to die now, not after all this." Carr opened his eyes a little. He saw John's face above him. He smiled a small, tired smile. "You broke an empire for me, little human," he whispered. John smiled back. "No, we broke it together, brother." Slowly, with his last strength, Carr lifted his giant hand. He made a tight fist